Maybe we can go till like 2:30 and then just kind of call it unless we need to talk in depth about something. That's up to you guys.
Okay.
Uh,
I have one. I have something to discuss. So one of my approved tasks was just an idea I had. Like, first off, one of them was the level transition, but like the one he more suggested, like the approved task was like a power up. So like, are y'all good with having like a power up in the game?
yeah, that's fine. Like, I guess it's a matter of what will it do.
Yeah, yeah, that's the one I'm trying to figure out. Like, I'm trying to be like food based. Like, he finds like a mutated food item and he eats it for like a power up. And like the power up is based on that food item. Like, what like an example I had was like if he ate a mutated watermelon, he gains extra armor from an enemy hit.
We can kind of keep this whole like satirical element of this game and call it the power of blue collar employment. Jeez, tough crowd. Okay, but anyways, so in regards to the like the basic like game setup, I was going to go into maps and modes, and for the game default map, make it something called a logo screen level. And what I did in my personal game is basically have it set up where it's literally just an empty environment for like the logo screen to play. And the reason I have it separate from like the menu or anything is because like that's one of the more like simplified ways to make sure that the logo only appears once throughout the game, so it doesn't like constantly show back up um when you're like you die and you want to head back to the main menu, or you just want to head back to the main menu regardless. It just streamlines the process, and then it would like transfer over to a menu map for the what's it called? Like for like the main menu. And the only reason that there would be a separate map for the main menu is if we wanted to have like a custom background or something. And personally, I was going to suggest for like the widget background is like someone could record, or I mean I could record like custom like gameplay and have them as uh like background videos, and it would kind of just like go between different scenes. So maybe like the player like the player maybe like climbing the projectiles, or yeah, I'm sorry, climbing the what are the platforms, and or like fighting the alien, and then I gotta have that like playing in the background, or it can just be a still frame image. It really could be anything, I suppose. And then when the player presses level select, they go into the level that they choose, and so on and so forth.
When you do the background for the main menus and stuff, instead of using the canvas palette, is it and like putting a picture there, can you put a video, or would you have to use like a whole main level and everything?
I believe I can add like some sort of video prompt. It wouldn't be much different than having like an image in the background, but I'm
Right.
definitely going to have to do some research on that because I've never tried that before.
I wasn't sure either because I've used the canvas palette where you can just put a picture and like the picture changes depending on if you're in the main menu or the options or whatever. But that'd be cool if you could put a video and like yeah, like you were saying, show some gameplay and stuff.
I could also do it where I could, like have perhaps just like a kind of sort of animated background where you're just like you're in like the open field where the game is going to take place.
Oh
And
yeah, I like that.
yeah, and we could have like spaceships or the aliens kind of flying across the screen. That would probably be the best way to go about it, because having to record gameplay and then um like rig it up to the background of the game might be a little bit on the more technical side. So perhaps just like simple lerping animation, or if the artist can provide like actual like animations to like the spaceships flying around and stuff, and then I can just add it to the background. That might be the more sensible approach. Alrighty, well, does anyone have any updates they want to share, something they're working on, or like something they kind of need to ask with the team?
I think today I'm just waiting for the gun to be finished, and then I was gonna attach the projectile to that. I did get the projectile done yesterday, just like the basic setup for it. But I was thinking of slowly working on enemy movements today. I'm slowly trying to get like the let's see, the melee will be like a person that's gonna charge towards you, kind of like they'll be patrolling, and once they get within range of the player, or like the player gets within range of their sight, then they'll charge after them and have a melee attack. And then we were talking about doing the project, or what is it, the range enemy, where once the enemy or the player gets within sight of the enemy, the ranged enemy, then they'll like kind of freeze in position, lock onto the player, and then throw projectiles at them, or like shoot projectiles at them. Like maybe, I don't know if we were gonna do like give the projectile enemy a gun, or if they were gonna be throwing things, or what we were gonna do for that. And then the boss fight, I know we talked about having um, multiple different ways to attack. Like maybe the boss battle can go between range and melee, and so we could just use the two attacks from the main enemies, or the first two, for the boss. Or do we want to change that up?
Huh. Well, I guess in terms of the boss, I mean, I wasn't thinking it was going to be like overly complex. I was kind of under the impression it was going to be something along the lines of like he's just in the center and he's like throwing things at you and you kind of just shoot him
Yeah,
with
and
the
then he's
shotgun
like
or something
trying
like
to
that.
smash you and stuff.
Okay.
I guess we could have some sort of like fun gimmick, like what's it called? Like maybe there is like floating like chunks of debris like from the ground that was like actually no because that's a I was gonna suggest maybe like the I because I was under the impression like the mothership is this the tractor was the one doing the tractor beam and that's why there's like debris in the boss fight arena, but I guess if that's not the case, perhaps it wouldn't make sense, or perhaps there's just like mechanical platforms that are like kind of like above the arena and you can like shoot like some sort of like power thing holding them up and then drop it on the boss in the center that might have like a shield that's
Oh, that'd be cool. Something like holding up the platform, or the whatever you call them, the platform, so when the boss is below it, you shoot them and they'll drop down on them and damage them.
yeah, I guess to
I like that.
yeah, to kind of keep the gameplay feeling a little less just like well kind of like what I was saying earlier like Dark Souls just like wail on the boss until he dies. Maybe get a little bit
Yeah.
more creative.
I
So
can work on basic enemy movement today for the most part, and then we can kind of adapt it to the enemies once we get them rendered in the game and finished and everything.
yep. Now, I just want to make sure I kind of get the concept for like the enemies. My before we talked about it, my mental image was in like the tractor beam section when you're jumping up the platforms, there'd be like aliens with jetpacks shooting at you from the sky around you, and then there may be like enemies on the ground that like attack and chase you. Uh Inside the spaceship predominantly, but I was kind of curious what the overall scope of the aliens and the AI code was going to look like in gameplay.
Yeah, I like that. We could put like little melee guys running around on the ground, and then as you're jumping up the platforms, like the little like going up to the ship, we could have guys floating around, and those can be the projectile ones that are like shooting at you.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I
Uh,
like that.
To me, I was thinking like the opposite, where like the grunts are the ones that are shooting at you, and but the elites are the ones that do high damage melee attacks.
hmm. Sorry, I'm just reading Megan's thing in the chat panel. You're talking about. Okay. Yeah, so I guess it's whoever is, for the most part, making like the aliens and working on the animation. I guess it's really up to how you guys want to approach it. How's it going, Christian? Alrighty. If you wanna check. Okay, gotcha. Let's see here. Uh, well, I kind of seems like we're making good progress, and
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah, and I would like to bring up that I have a layout for my toy box though, and like where everything could go. But like the only thing like I'm having like you need to stall for a bit is to like how to design the areas for testing, as I need to know what we are testing so I can design the areas for that. Like let's say shooting and like I said power up. I need to know like how far can it shoot, how much damage, so I can put like the different decoys, distance, like all that.
mhm.
Yeah, and like it's like a center square where like in the center will be like the level transition where if players can choose from the toy box to like walk into the middle, like probably like an alien ship or icon or something, and then get transported into the main game. And then on the left side would be like the either range combat, like where they can practice their shooting and abilities. The right would be like a platforming area, test how the platforming works. And then in the middle, like practice where they can combine all of them, like see how they can mix them and match them together. And then the behind, like in the back, would be like an approved area, like, hey, here's a gallery of all the approved ideas that we have made for this game. We hear some of the models, enemies, and all that. Like showcasing that, hey, this is all the stuff you experience in the game.
Yeah, we could have like you said, like the gallery and just be like the stuff that is like the final concept text. No, like actually, maybe
I was
it
thinking
would
of
be.
text. I was thinking of text or an image.
Well, I was going to suggest perhaps we have like an audio input where we basically have like each of us narrate something that exists in the game to give like the toy box a little bit of character. So like Claus would narrate like the elements in the level, like the level setup, and then like Jonathan Luke could talk about I believe you said you were making like the projectiles and some other stuff.
Yes. So I got the projectile done. So when you're playing in the map, you just left click on the mouse and it shoots like a basic projectile. It's got like a curve to it and everything right now. I was thinking we could use that for the shotgun, but I just have to add more to it once we get the shotgun. It's just the code for it's set up right now. And
Yeah.
so I just wanted to knock out, so like get the hard part, like the take part that's going to take forever, and then we can adapt it to this stuff once we get everything rendered and all the assets in the game. Then we can take the code and apply it to it, and it'll make everything go a lot smoother and faster instead of trying to build off of it just from raw, from nothing.
Yeah. So basically, whatever like and obviously I can do this for the artist as well. And if you don't want to like narrate your own part, I mean that's perfectly fine. We can just have like just anyone who wants to do it. Like if you want to have another artist do it in your place, Megan, if you don't want to have your voice in the game, we could do something like that. Or yeah, or and then what I can do is like I'll have like one of those. I'm getting this like mental like well, I'm getting this thought process from like what I've seen in developer builds of like Half-Life 2 where you see these like little floating text blocks where you walk up to it and it's like Gabe Newell talking about like what the design process was for like X area or Z component and something
Almost
like
like a
that.
virtual tour, kind of.
Yeah, exactly. And I can have like a little widget screen animated to like pop up with like your name, um, whether or not you're an artist or like an artist or a designer and what exactly was your speciality for the project. And for Megan, she just wrote something narrating what we did in this. I mean like narrating what assets you were responsible for building in game. So if you're a little lost on like the technical words that were like for like the development side of things. A toy box level is just showing off every single like element that's in the game. So actually, wait, I can show you with my project.
I think
Uh,
someone's at the door. I'll be right back. Sorry.
yep. So if you're watching my stream, this is like a toy box level. It's basically where you have all your basic assets in the game. So for my particular instance, you have these like little pickups that the player can pick up and interact with, and then this ladder here where they can just kind of go up and down. And essentially, a toy box just shows off all the basic features in your gameplay in like one like confined environment where you don't have to explore the level just to interact with them. They're all kind of like displayed in the same open environment for the player to experience and mess around with. And my idea was to have just like little narrating blocks. Like for example, you worked on the barn and the spaceship, and then if you don't want to narrate, we could have like one of like the artists, other artists to like say, hey, Megan worked on this, and this is what went into creating it, and here was like maybe something notable that's worth discussing about it, something along those lines. But obviously, that's like kind of towards like the latter end of working on the project. Like if we have time, because we're still gonna have to actually get the project working. So that was kind of more of a passing thought we could add in for um, like extra flair for our project when it's complete.
Yeah. I also have like in the past I've used some tutorial videos to help me with like certain parts of my code, and like I feel like you can either look at that. I can send some of that into the Discord, like inspiration for how to do certain things, like the menu, like how I said like I used a lot less code than what you use for it. But like I was thinking, you could look at that video and see how somewhat I did it. You can like get an idea. But especially that logo and like the transition in the screen, along with that video, if you're thinking about doing that.
Someone showed me in like one of the classes a long time ago that if you're like looking for like it's like if you can't figure out why your code's not working, or if it's just not working the way you want, Blueprint UE, you can like look up people's blueprints on how they did certain things. I definitely would not uh look too deeply into them, because a lot of them are like the code, it works, but it's definitely not the best way to handle some of the code. But if you're like trying to figure out something, Blueprint UE is pretty good
Uh,
for finding out how other people
I'm
did
just
it.
saying like an example. I'm not saying we have to base it one to one.
I'm not gonna lie, this like for most of the code, like uh, getting to this point in my like coding skills, I've just been like chat GPTing absolutely everything. Not having it carry me, like, but just having it explain like more complex like coding
Hmm. It's
elements.
easier than like wasting like 3 hours later on finding out that it's messed up somewhere. It
Yeah.
only is a time saver.
Mhm.
It'll catch something early on for you. I've used it before and it helped me out.
Yeah.
Saved me tons of time.
Gosh, wouldn't that be nice? Like Unreal Engine 6, you actually have like an AI assistant that can like observe your code and offer suggestions.
I would
Um,
like that if it told me early
there,
on. It would give a little
the
warning sign.
AI has that. You know that.
Hmm?
The latest version of Unreal has an AI assistance for that.
No way.
It does. Look it up.
I don't want to have to like ask the assistant. I just want it to
Like
periodically be like, "Don't put
in
this in,
five
please."
point, I believe it's seven. 5 point. Oh wait, no. Wait, we're Unreal Engine. Yeah, 5.7. They have an AI assistant built into the engine.
Gosh, when once 5.7 is like proved in terms of like stability, after
Yeah, yeah.
my
It's in beta right now. It's in beta, but like if
mm,
but like overall, it does have that.
I might have to look into that because that would be exceptional. Who needs a whole studio when you can just have ChatGPT make your whole game for you?
Mm. I mean, I don't know if it's FPV, but like it's something like that.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Alrighty, well, I think we're on a good pace for building out our project. If anyone has, I mean, same as before, just, got questions, concerns, You got professors, you got classmates in the main chat room or elsewhere, and we can kind of just, uh, you know, um, reconnect. And then I believe we got Saturday at 4 p.m. for whoever can make that meeting. And aside from that, any last thing anyone wants to talk about?
Not that I can think of. If I have any questions, I'll just message you guys in the main chat on Discord here.
All right, sounds good. Well, I guess that concludes. What is this?
Yo, I had a question.
Oh, yep.
They're having me make wheat clumps of wheat for the collectibles, but I was also thinking maybe on you guys' end as the designers, would you guys be able to make a foliage out of it instead? You
Hmm.
guys know what that is, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, with that, because like when we're making like foliage, you can make it one of two ways. You can have it be a standalone asset that you can just periodically place throughout the level, but I can tell you, and I think any designer can tell you, hand placing thousands of like pieces of wheat might be a little difficult, unless it was like Minecraft style wheat. But
Okay.
the more practical side of things is having like actual like here, if you want to look at my screen, I don't think I have anything that I can like properly show it off, but
I
there
have
is.
done that with strings before. It does take a while.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's cool. I don't mind modeling it. I just had to what do you call it? Optimize it better because it was too much geometry on it. But I'll get that to you. I got you.
Yeah, because we could add it to like a landscape, but honestly I don't even know if there's going to be a landscape in this game. Is there? Like I don't know if anyone's working on that. Well, I don't know if it's going to
No.
be just like a big square like plane, or like I said, something like a landscape with foliage attached to it.
Um, you're asking if someone's making one?
Yeah, I'm just asking that generally. It seems like I don't know. Seems like
Mr.
that's.
Claus said I was going to use the wheat to make the fields, and then Megan said foliage brush.
Yeah, that's the one. Uh, so yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, maybe just like a wheat, just like a singular wheat asset, and then maybe down the road we can actually have down the road being like a few days from now, I guess. But basically we can just have like someone maybe make a landscape where we can add like wheat to it or something like that. We'll see how that goes. That could, if we're not careful with that, that could really hurt performance.
Wanted
Cause like,
to make it
Yeah,
easier.
trust me, I did it last game before in the past when I tried to make a level. I made it either way too big or way too small, and like performance was everywhere. Heck, my computer couldn't even handle the detail I was trying to put in, so I had to like really downscale everything.
If we do want the player as they like go farther in the level to see farther out, because we don't want it to just be emptiness. We could make the area closer to them more blocked out with like the barns, the float like extra just non-accessible floating pieces of rock. And the farther out we could just put kind of like how you would see like a like a farm fields from like a plane
mhm.
to where they're just like colored like a square. They don't have to have anything on them because they won't be like far enough. They can't really tell. Like we're not gonna have anything that zooms you in to see farther away, so it would just be colored squares, spreading out from there, and we can color like make them pretty big, so you don't have to place too many of them, rather than having like wheat fields where they're all sticking up out of the ground.
Yeah, we could do
Mm.
something like that. Oh, something when it comes to like the 3D model end of things. Have you guys done anything with LODs?
Remind me
No.
what that is again?
Level of detail. So like when you're farther away from an asset, like I'm trying to think of a good example. Uh, maybe
Like it won't render all the details until you get up close?
yeah, like when you're far away, it's literally just polygons, but when you get up close, like it looks like an actual tree or something like that.
Um, from what I know, we usually just model it based on how close it's gonna be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I'm not sure if that's well, I guess you'd have to make like the actual like models because I'm not entirely sure if LODs are done on the game design end of things, or if you guys are able to like rig it up where at X distance show this level of detail or something like that. That might be like an us
Hmm.
thing.
I'll have to look into that. I'm not entirely sure. I know what you're talking about though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Huh.
Yeah, yeah, I know what you mean. Like, actually, a recent example I have for that is where like there's this Kickstarter game I funded like These on Nights, where the background detail, like the trees, were literally just 2D images. They weren't like 3D. They were 2D. If you like look past the level aspect.
Yeah. I mean,
Talking about like Ocarina of Time, like the castle in the back is just like an image. I know what you're
Yeah.
talking about.
hmm.
But yeah, I think it's just based on like how the artists, I guess, because we model it, right? I guess it's just based on how like if we think somebody's gonna be far, we'll just put lower polys on it.
Yeah, we could do something like
Yeah,
that.
And then
Oh,
when it's
yeah,
like closer, it's we just add more geometry so it doesn't break the immersion.
yeah.
yeah.
Also, one last thing on the widget side of things I wanted to ask. So eventually, probably this weekend, I'm gonna start working on a functional credit screen. So I don't necessarily, I could probably look up videos of just like game credits to make sure I'm on like the right track. But what I was thinking is for the credits, like once like the game ends and everything and then it starts rolling, I was thinking about having all of our names split, well, obviously split between the artists and the designers, and then just
So like
have,
left side would be designers, right side would be artists.
no, just one big long column, so maybe designers and then artists. And I wasn't sure entirely how I wanted to go about displaying each of your like uh what's the word, each of your like contributions. Like I was thinking, like would it be like exactly what you added into the game, or would it be like your role, like like for me it would, you'd see like my name under designers and then next to my name my contribution was widgets, or like what specifically in widgets, and then that would apply to the rest of you, of course.
You could have like our attribution, which whatever like our main role was, and then maybe like an abbreviated amount of stuff that like just the main stuff that you did. We could do that. Like your main things that you worked on throughout the project.
Yeah, because I was thinking maybe like once again using me for example, it's like like cage widgets, and then below that it's like health bar settings, controls, and then
Main
more.
menu, stuff like that.
And I feel like that would look a little sloppy.
We could just have our roles. I mean, there's
Yeah.
not going to be much to the credits if we don't put that much, but yeah,
Well, actually, yeah. I
that
guess that
works.
I guess adding those would pad it out.
Because I think the credits would go by pretty quick, or it'd just be like one. You could fit everything on one screen pretty much. It wouldn't even be much of a credit. It could just be like an end screen.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Like, I'm kind of sold on that idea. Like adding in every single like bit of detail. I guess to a point though, it's like being like I changed X float value and put that in there.
Yeah, yeah. No, just like abbreviate the main things that you did across the project. That'd be kind of cool.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, that'll just something I have to keep in mind when we get to that point. But yeah, that's all I got. So if we're good on everything that we shared, we can
Yeah.
kind of start closing this out.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, Cage, I'm here. Well, I just finished the round that I was playing. Um, I'm gonna drop back to that the level stuff. I did put all that stuff in there just to get it so it click up ready. If you want to take a quick look at them, like it's not great. Like I had spent all day doing them yesterday, so
Yeah.
I was really burnt out towards the end. For the mothership, um, how I could kind of configured it, I had to do it from the top view to make it look semi-presentable, I guess. It you go in the mothership through the little entrance that Megan has. And then I was thinking I might just chop that entrance or cut it so that I can raise it up so that it closes properly. And then I was
Okay.
going to use the current ship that we have that we're going to use like as a transport ship as well. That little saucer one, I was going to use that also as an escape pod, but I'm going to warp it down into more of like a pod look shape it. And then I'm going to have that kind of be the exit, and that's where like credits will show as well
Gotcha.
if we want. But so it's gonna kind of like cut through that, and like I'm gonna kind of design it that way when I do the interior for it.
Okay.
So if you want to look at the maps, that'll kind of give you at least a better gist on some of them.
Yeah, also one
Like
element to your like level maps I just want to ask about is I mean they're pretty much self-explanatory in terms of like their naming conventions, right? Because
yeah,
yeah, what I planned on doing was like cuz I'm going to need to like know the names of each levels, so I just want to make sure it's like
yeah.
something
There's
clear.
gonna be three levels. Um, so it's gonna be there's farm, then there's barn.
Yep,
Cause like the second level, I was thinking of just doing a real quick one where it's like just inside the barn, and that's how you get up to the space to the mothership is through that level, and then the other one's called mothership at the end.
gotcha. Yeah, cuz like when I actually go to like open level, I just want to make sure I know which one it is. And it seems like you have like start, middle, and then end.
Yeah, I haven't. I'm gonna rename them as once I've kind of gotten further in, because I was just gonna start renaming them because I just had them as harvester when I was in my other project, and that's kind of I just renamed them so I had them kind of there, and I didn't mix them up with the other levels I have in there.
Gotcha.
So I'm gonna rename them now that they're in Perforce.
Yep. Alrighty. Well, so would you need me to look at anything right now, or?
If you just want to look at that to kind of get a gist,
Yeah,
because like they're not approved yet, but that'll at least give you kind of a gist of what I'm working with or what I'm trying to do. At least especially the pacing, because I kind of put in some description of like the fighting and platforming at that point.
gotcha. I will just clarify. I got like 12 minutes before I gotta get ready for work. But yeah, I can with the time I got left, I can take a look.
They're very quick. It's I think the first level and the last level are like the longest in like more description or more kind of rooms to work with where um the middle one is literally like 5 nodes. It's entrance, there's gonna be the cow's pen where player finds out stuff. Then there's gonna be two platforming areas to then get to the end where the transport ship is, where he's gonna fight his first elite or something.
Gotcha.
But
Alright,
that's based on like this was all based on what the current knowledge I had, where there was gonna be an elite version of an alien, and then there was gonna be like the varied second versions.
yeah, that makes sense.
So I just went based off of hey, varying enemies. I just kind of kept it kind of vague,
Mhm.
but
Uh,
yeah.
yeah. So real quick, I'm just gonna go ahead and really end the OBS stream real quick.